I do thank you for being here on this hearing, though it seems to be a bit tone deaf in the idea of what we're going on in the world today. The brutal war that Russia is waging in Ukraine really should serve as a wake-up call to any Americans who have let their guard down and failed to consider how energy security translates to national security. America's vast oil and gas resources as part of an all-of-the-above energy plan are a strategic weapon against dictators like Putin. We can produce a lot more energy here at home. And in doing that, I think we have proved that we can reduce greenhouse gas as well. In fact, we've done it more than the next 12 developed countries combined in our reduction of greenhouse gases. That's come as a result of using clean natural gas, and we shouldn't forget that. And while I state that, even though it's been stated here a couple times today that there's something that we could call carbon-free, there is no such thing as carbon-free in any of our energy today. That's a myth when we look at lifetime costs of producing even electric energy. We need to modernize our pipelines, our infrastructure, our processes for the fight that lies ahead with people like Putin. This war isn't going to be over anytime soon. We also have to be realistic and lessen our dependence on China, which controls 90% of the world's critical minerals. Mr. Pyle, I recently traveled to the European Union with the Conservative Climate Caucus. I found that in their rush to reduce emissions, traditional energy baseload sources like nuclear and natural gas have been discarded without adequately replacing them. In your testimony, you highlight similar findings. This underinvestment in natural gas in the EU has led to an unsustainable dependence on Russian oil and gas and has exacerbated the current energy crisis. I see natural gas as a key enabler of our energy independence, as well as our short-term and long-term emission reductions. It's a cleaner burning fuel, and combined with innovative technologies, it can allow us to reduce emissions in an affordable way without abandoning the existing infrastructure and raising consumer prices. Mr. Pyle, what steps should the United States take to ensure that we do not repeat the natural gas mistakes of the EU?
First, do no harm. I think the policies or the non-policies, the reversal of the elimination of some of the restrictions on our ability to both produce and move and export these resources is the wrong approach. I think that the idea that FERC could abandon its mission and create policy statements that would make it virtually impossible to build new pipelines is the wrong approach. I think that we need to recognize the tremendous value of this energy resource, not only for the affordable and reliable electricity that it generates, but for the multiple uses of natural gas, fertilizer, plastics, all of the multiple uses that are in this room everywhere that we depend on. Those are important first steps.
I'm glad you brought up those aspects as well, because we will soon find out with the growing season coming to the United States, to Michigan, we don't have the fertilizer. Right now, it's not simply that the farmers know that the fertilizer costs are going up exponentially. They can't get it. They can't even order it because the producers don't know how to get it to them or when they can get it to them. Mr. Pyle, what regulatory changes do you recommend to ensure that the U.S. is able to remain energy independent?
We need to continue the lease. We have to restore the leasing process on federal lands. It's an important strategic asset that we have that we're not utilizing. We need to reverse the policies that have led to this sort of freeze, if you will, or this concern about the regulatory and financial pressures that have been put on the industry. We have nominees for positions in the federal and banking and finance that are openly, actively hostile to investing in oil and gas. We can't have that, especially now. Those are just a few things we should start with.
I thank you, and I yield back.